If you are trying to decide which one is cheaper, you have to look past the headline rate, because at HELOC usually affects only the cash you take out. But the cash out refinance changes the rate on your entire mortgage balance. That simple detail is why one choice can be wildly cheaper than the other depending on timing. Here is the simple roadmap for this video. First, we define what each option is. Then we run a full side-by-side example where the HELOC wins. Then we run a second example where the cash-out refinance can win. Then we summarize the rules of thumb, the break-even thinking, and the exact numbers you should plug in. Let us start with definitions in plain English. A HELOC is a home equity line of credit. You keep your existing mortgage exactly as it is. Then you open a separate credit line, like a credit card secured by your house, with a limit based on your equity. You can draw money, pay it back, and draw again during the draw period. Many HELOCs are variable rate. Many HELOCs start with interest-only payments during the draw period. Then, later the line converts to repayment, and the required payment usually increases. A cash-out refinance is different. You replace your current mortgage with a new mortgage. The new loan is bigger because it includes the cash you want. You get the difference as cash at closing. Most cash-out refinances are fixed rate, and the closing costs are usually higher than at HELOC. Now the key question, which is cheaper? The honest answer is it depends on your current mortgage rate, today's rates, the amount of cash you need, and how long you plan to keep the debt. So let us stop guessing and run the math. Example 1. Common situation. HELOC wins. Assume your home value is $500,000. Assume your current mortgage balance is $300,000. That means your equity is $200,000. Assume you want to pull out $60,000 for renovations. Assume your existing mortgage rate is 3.0%. Fixed. Assume today's cash-out refinance rate is 7.0% fixed for 30 years. Assume today's HELOC rate is 8.5% variable. Assume refinance closing costs are $9,000. Assume HELOC costs are $500. These are example numbers. Your real quotes will differ, but the comparison logic is the same. Now we calculate both options. Option 1, HELOC. You keep your $300,000 mortgage at 3.0%. You add a new HELOC balance of $60,000 at 8.5%. Let us estimate the payments. Existing mortgage payment estimate. $300,000 at 3.0% for 30 years is about $1,265 per month. HELOC. Payment estimate during interest only. Interest only means you are paying interest, but not principal. 60,000 times 8.5% is 5,100 per year. 5,100 divided by 12 is about $425 per month. So during the interest-only draw phase, total monthly payment is about $1,265 plus $425. That is about $1,690 per month. Upfront costs are about $500. Now what is the cost over time? To keep it clean, assume you keep the HELOC balance at $60,000 for 5 years. That is a realistic horizon for renovations or a short-term plan to repay later. 5-year HELOC interest estimate. $425 per month times 60 months is about $25,500. Add $500 of costs. Total 5-year cost is about $26,000. Now a reality check. If the HELOC rate changes, the interest changes. If the HELOC rate goes up to 10%, the interest-only payment becomes $500 per month. Over 5 years, that becomes $30,000 of interest. So the HELOC has rate risk. But in this first example, even with some rate movement, it can still be far cheaper than refinancing your entire mortgage. Now option 2, cash out refinance. You refinance the whole balance. New loan amount becomes $360,000 because you roll the $60,000 cash out into the mortgage. Rate is 7.0% fixed. Term is 30 years. Closing costs are $9,000. Now estimate the new payment. $360,000 at 7.0% for 30 years is about $23.95 per month. Compare monthly payments. HELOC path, about $16.90. Refinance path, about $23.95. Difference is about $705 per month. In this example, the refinance payment is much higher. Now we should also compare interest, not just payment. Here is the hidden cost of a refinance when you have a low existing rate. You are not only borrowing $60,000 at the new rate, you are moving your entire $300,000 from 3.0% to 7.0%. That creates a large incremental interest cost. To make it easy, compare 5-year interest on the old mortgage versus the new refinance. These are estimates, not exact amortization schedules, but they are directionally accurate and useful for decision making. Old mortgage interest over 5 years at 3.0% on $300,000 is roughly $43,000. New mortgage interest over 5 years at 7.0% on $360,000 is roughly $124,000. The difference is roughly $1,000 more interest over 5 years. Then add the $9,000 of refinance costs. So, compared to keeping your old mortgage, the refinance can cost roughly $90,000 more over 5 years in this example. That is why the HELOC wins so clearly here. You pay a higher rate only on $60,000. You protect your cheap 3.0% rate on the $300,000. Now let us slow down and summarize example 1. If your current mortgage rate is far below today's rates, and you only need a moderate amount of cash, a HELOC is often cheaper because it isolates the higher interest rate to the smaller amount. Now example 2, a scenario where a cash-out refinance can win, or at least become competitive. To make the refinance look better, we need one of these conditions. Your existing mortgage rate is not extremely low, or today's refinance rates are not much higher than your current rate, or you need a much larger cash amount, or your HELOC rate is very high, or you expect it to rise, or you need payment stability, and you do not want variable rate risk. So here is example 2. Assume your home value is $500,000. Assume your current mortgage balance is $300,000. Assume you want to pull out $150,000, maybe for a major remodel, debt consolidation, or a business investment. Now assume your existing mortgage rate is 6.5%, not 3.0%. Assume today's cash-out refinance rate is 7.0% fixed. Assume today's HELOC rate is 9.5% variable. Assume refinance closing costs are still $9,000. Assume HELOC costs are $500. Now compare. Option 1, HELOC. You keep the $300,000 at 6.5%. You add $150,000 at 9.5%. Payment. Estimate for existing mortgage. $300,000 at 6.5% for 30 years is about $1896 per month.